What is up, everybody? So today we're going to go over a different type of article. This one is from March 9th, 2006 and is from the Madison, Wisconsin State Journal. It's titled Reacting to Murder. It has articles printed by people that wrote this publication on their thoughts on what was going on at the time. There are some here from both sides of the fence and we're going to go over all of them. The first one is titled Graphic Details Made Halbach Story Worse. Thank you for the warning above Friday's report concerning Teresa Halbach's murder. Unfortunately, I decided to read the article despite the warning. Was it necessary, reasonable, or appropriate to publish the grisly details of Halbach's torture and murder? Did the article invade her family's privacy? Did it perpetuate the terrible wrong done to her? Does the fact that you printed a warning make any difference? Did including the graphic details serve the public's right to know? I don't know the answers to these questions, but I sincerely hope the journal gave careful thought to these questions before running the article. Teresa Halbach, the Halbach family, and your readers deserve nothing less. This person, of course, is talking about when they printed the information that Ken Kratz talked about in the press conference that he gave. Wasn't just this publication that printed this. This was from a live press conference that aired on television everywhere that Ken Kratz gave. This one states, concern for prisoners neglects the victims. The individuals who allowed Steven Avery to be released should take a long look at the harm they did. Yes, they were trying to do the right thing, but were the results they found correct? Could the evidence they used to release this monster be the correct evidence? There is so much paranoia about individual prisoners on death row or serving life sentences for crimes they did commit that too often the victims and families are forgotten. I'm not saying the individuals who released this monster are guilty of any crime, but this man really has made fools of his defenders and proven that some prisoners can never be rehabilitated, and no attempt should be made to do so. We all make mistakes, but hopefully the mistakes we make do not cause such pain and suffering when this monster, and I can think of no other word to describe this man, is found guilty. The citizens of Wisconsin should reconsider the death penalty. Now, it states that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Steven Avery didn't have anything to be rehabilitated from. He was innocent in prison, and DNA evidence proved that. This person sounds like they're talking, if you're convicted of anything, even if you didn't do it, you should stay in prison. You cannot predict what somebody is going to do when they get out of prison, especially if they're innocent while they are in prison. Could being in prison for 18 years change who you are? Absolutely. But you're innocent in prison, and DNA evidence proves that. You should 1,000,000% be released. It makes absolutely no sense to keep somebody in prison, and to say that he wasn't rehabilitated is a ridiculous statement to me, because he didn't have anything to be rehabilitated from because he was innocent of the crime. Prison's spiritual void helps create monsters. Having been in a prison ministry for several years, at times I received inmate correspondence sharing childhood details, some of which make me physically ill and sorrow, as does the Steven Avery story. This saga, which spotlights the failures of our criminal justice system, seems to have begun even before he was wrongfully committed to prison for a crime he did not commit. As you give, so shall you receive, and society has received the tragic result for which Avery prepaid the price. The Department of Corrections and our politically correct freedom from religion society must share some of the blame for the snowballing tragedies of Avery's wrongful imprisonment, Teresa Halbach's death, and for ending any meaningful life for Steven Avery's 16-year-old relative, Brendan Dassey. Inmates already have a problem when they enter the prison system, even when justly committed. Leaving these spiritually, developmentally disabled ones for dormancy at taxpayer expense while their physical development grows may result in difficulty to contain Frankenstein monster-like behavior as that giant instinctively attempts to extinguish the social scientists that created. Sensational story convicts Avery. If there's one person who might get the presumption of innocence to which he's entitled, it should be Steven Avery. The Wisconsin State Journal used the sensational headline, "Avery, that's how you do it," and no doubt convicted him in the minds of passers-by. You have no idea whether Avery said that. All you know is that the police said Steven Avery's 16-year-old nephew said Avery said it. Avery has maintained his innocence. I absolutely love where Mark Edwards is going with this. That's slimy enough, but it gets worse. The alleged quote implies that Steven Avery has done this sort of thing before. You've played upon the misconception that the accusation against Avery implies he may have been guilty of the earlier crime too. Doing that treats Avery unfairly and casts doubt on the reputations of others who have been proven innocent of crimes of which they were convicted. Louder for the people in the back, Mark Edwards. Does it seem likely that a 16-year-old boy hearing screams from his uncle's trailer would complete his mail delivery? Solid question. Or a man in the middle of a rape hearing a knock on his door would stop and open it? Does it seem likely that he would welcome a 16-year-old witness to join him rather than trying to hide his crime? Scream it, Mark. Scream it from the rooftops. None of these seem likely to me, but that doesn't mean they aren't true. The point is, do your job and figure it out. I love everything that Mark Edwards said there. This person is talking about gun control in this next one. A gun may have saved Teresa Halbach's life. After reading about Teresa Halbach's ordeal, I imagine Governor Jim Doyle feels proud of himself for vetoing the proposed concealed carry bill so that no woman in Wisconsin can protect herself from the likes of Steven Avery and Brendan Dassey. God forbid that people like these two could possibly be hurt or killed by their victim. Just continue to offer them counseling. So, my favorite article was by Mark Edwards. He asks a lot of questions. Is it likely that Brendan Dassey would have continued delivering the mail after hearing Teresa Halbach allegedly scream? Does it seem likely that Steven Avery would open the door in the middle of his crime? Does it seem likely that Steven Avery would invite someone to join his crime? All of that seems absolutely bonkers to me. So that's this article, and I actually hope that there's more of these that got printed back then. I really enjoyed going over this one. Let me know what you think. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you again soon.